Here's a couple walleyes that we caught the other day. So when you're cleaning walleyes, don't forget to take out the cheeks. This is a great part of the fish. You just go around back. It's a hard bone you can feel here. And then once you've cut it off there, you can just stick your finger underneath that flap and flip it up like that. You see the meat under there. And then you just cut around. You can actually peel this meat right off the skin here. Cut it off there. So you get a beautiful cheek fillet. That is a great piece of meat right there, so don't forget to do that. Okay, so here we have that walleye that we've just cheeked, and we're going to fillet him up. I just cut behind the pectoral fin like this. I've been filleting a lot of fish, as you can see, all this blood and guts here. Sorry about that. But now we're going to cut just down along the spine here. We kind of follow the line of the fins like you see here, going just along the side of the fins. You can feel as you're cutting down the bones that you're grinding against. You don't want to cut through the spine. That kind of messes up your fillet. When you get down to the anal fin, you can just go through the other side with your knife and cut down. And then I kind of cut back towards the ribs, cut down along inside of the fish like that. And this walleye, I like to go over the ribs, not cut through them. Once they get a little bit bigger like this, it's actually kind of hard to fillet because it's hard to cut down through those bones. So we'll just cut along the ribs like this and fillet it off nicely like that. Once you get to the base of the ribs, you can actually cut. You'll feel where the ribs end, and then you can cut down so you don't lose all that meat or cut off that meat. So I just kind of trim the meat down like that. There we go. You have a nice beautiful fillet like that one right there. So that's a pretty nice fillet. Now what we want to do is just spin the fish around, and we're going to do the same thing as we did on the perch. If you feel right here, there's a line of bones, so I just cut along the upper side, and the bones kind of curve down, so you can just follow them down. Make sure you don't miss any. They usually get missed at the front end here. Then once you've cut, you can feel along the side, and you'll feel if you run your finger along the inside if you have missed any bones. That way you just cut down to the skin on both sides of those bones. You don't need to take out much meat, just a little sliver, and then you get rid of all the bones in that fillet. This is really thin belly meat. I just cut that off because it kind of, there's nothing really there anyways. And it makes it easier to trim off the skin when you're done. Then you just flip it over. So you have your fillet right there, ready to take it off the skin. You just cut down at the tail end like that, and then you flatten out your knife, and you just go down the skin like this. Wiggle into the knife back and forth, like that, like so. And there you go. Works good if you have a bigger knife too, because you can take it off the skin just like that. So you have your fillet. Now we've taken out the bones like this. You can just cut this off. You see it's just a thin little thing of meat there to get rid of the bones. And there you have a beautiful fillet from the walleye. Here we go. This is the second side we're going for. So now the other side is sometimes a little more tricky, but that's okay. So do the same thing. Cut down that side, cut down to the pectoral fin, and then you just cut down along this spine here, close to the fin as you can, so you don't lose any meat. You can actually feel the knife grinding along those bones as you go down. You see, open it up, you can see those bones that I'm grinding along. And then you want to stay on top of the fin here, top the fin as you go back. And once you get back here to this anal fin, you can just stick the knife right through over the spine bone, and then you go back to the tail like that. And then you can cut up a little bit to the ribs. Then you come back here and you trim this meat down off the backbone and the ribs. So we're just trimming it off the ribs right now. And actually these are, yeah, there's some, those are the pin bones you actually have to cut down through before you can actually continue to trim the meat off the ribs like this. Once you get to the base of the ribs, like we're at the base now, you can pretty much just grab the belly meat and then cut back. It's a little bit tricky. when they're already gutted, because I gutted these the other day. Just cutting back down over the ribs like that. There we go. Now I have our second fillet done. It's very nice. Cut off the anus there. Gonna trim the bones like we did last time here. You can feel them sticking out. You can see they actually even separate out there from me relatively nicely because I was cutting along them when I was going down the ribs. And then once you got the top side, cut the bottom side, you can cut back towards the bones so you get them all out. You lose the least meat as possible. Now you're back at the tail. Cut down through the meat to the skin. Don't cut through the skin. And then just flatten out your knife and cut down the fish like this. A little bit of angle, a little bit of pressure. You actually use a lot of pressure. Press down on the knife like that and back through the fish, and there you go. You have a nice fillet. You can take out that section of bones that we cut out. There we go. I took out that section of bones, and you have your nice fillet ready for the pan. Today we're using the bait buttons. Gonna try this out for the first time. Gonna see how it works to hold on to leeches. We're gonna be using a jig and a plain hook setup, going after walleye and perch. So I'm gonna be showing you how to set these up so your bait doesn't come off, since you have barbless hooks up here, which can lead to you losing your bait easier than you would otherwise with a barb.